Well, what would an election be without a little controversy, right? Patrick Cannon, the former mayor of Charlotte who pleaded guilty to felony corruption charges, voted via absentee ballot in the midterm elections. It is illegal for convicted felons to vote. His vote is being challenged now by the Board of Elections, which means his vote will not count in the election. Cannon's vote is a violation of his bond. That means he could be ordered to report to prison sooner than planned. That decision, though, will be made by his probation officer or a judge. So joining us this morning to talk about the legal issues behind this, Matt Fleischman, a partner with a law firm here in Charlotte and a frequent guest here on Good Day Carolinas. Thank you for coming in.
It's always a pleasure.
All right, so Matt, let's talk about the legal ramifications for Cannon. I mean, certainly the one vote doesn't matter. That's disregarded. We don't really care about that. We care about what happens to Cannon. What's going to happen here?
So what Paige said earlier is correct. It's a probation violation. A felon it's illegal for a felon to vote. Okay, so what you've got now is once the probation officer becomes aware of it, he will write up a report and submit that to the judge, and most likely the judge will accelerate the incarceration of former Mayor Patrick Cannon.
So he's supposed to report on November 11th, Veterans Day. You're saying that could change. Could they actually re-sentence him as well?
I think that would be highly unlikely. I think in this situation, I think what most likely will happen is just simply an acceleration of his incarceration.
So you're talking only a few days here. I mean, we're in November, so it's not like it's not the end of the world. I mean, is there any additional penalty on top of this, or is that just pretty much it? You can come. Could they say come today? You're coming to jail.
I think there's certainly a possibility, but it also depends on when that report is submitted to the judge. Okay, so and I don't know when that's going to take place. I think the judge can take a look at some other factors here in terms of how obvious or how egregious the offense was. I think it's unlikely that Patrick Cannon did not realize he could not vote. You know, it's an issue in the African American community about how many people have been disenfranchised or have lost the right to vote. He, as a politician, should have been very aware of that, and to actually go out and vote is fairly egregious.
And so not everyone, though, knew about that law. You know, certainly this is in the headlines today. So what are the details exactly around the law? I know we said, you know, of course, convicted felons can't vote, but there are more details other than just that that people may not be aware of.
Sure. So once you are convicted of a felony or plead guilty to a felony, that you lose the right to vote in North Carolina. Each state is different, so each state controls their voting laws. In North Carolina, you have lost that right to vote. However, that loss is not absolute. You can gain back the right of being able to vote once your prison sentence has been completed and you've been discharged, no longer on probation, etc. So he would have been able to vote again in the future, but obviously he couldn't vote now.
All right, Matt Fleischman joining us here on this day after. Appreciate the insight as always. For the very latest on the story as it develops, follow us on Twitter at Fox 46 Carolinas, anytime on Facebook as well, facebook.com/MyFoxCarolinas. Here's Nick with